Well, he gets the Black Rally Pro. Oh, well, of course, no road test of mine would be complete without fucking pouring rain. Here it comes.
The Triumph Tiger 900 Rally. Sports bike or cruiser? What do you think? Actually, it's both. What the Triumph Tiger 900 Rally is? Well, I'll tell you what it is. It's a Jekyll and Hyde of a motorcycle. And in road-going suspension setup, it can be a comfortable cruiser or a sharp-handling sports bike. And it excels in both roles without compromise. And how is that? How does it do that? Well, it's this adjustable suspension, the adjustable damping on the front of the bike and on the rear shock.
There's a lot of sag on this rear spring. I would say it's not set up for someone my weight. The Rally has a very plush ride. Now, I don't know where the damping settings are set on this bike at all, but wherever they are now, it's set to the quite the plush end of the damping, which will have a play with the suspension of this bike, because I've talked about the bike before, or the GT anyway, so we shall have a good look at the suspension on this Rally, see what the range is like. Right, I can feel a little reluctance to go around the corners, so because I'm heavy, I don't know where this preload's set, but because I'm heavy, I'm going to give it a little bit more preload, because I'm probably sitting a bit low at the rear. I've given it a bit more anyway. I'll just have it turning in a bit sharper. Oh, caution, low air temperature, risk of surface ice. Not with all this rain. That's better. I can feel it already. I can feel it already. Yes, yes, yes. I could do with a bit more again, but I can feel the difference already. So my preload that I've adjusted from stock plus a couple of turns for my weight, 18 stone or so, 19 stone, that has the bike steering very nicely, so I'm glad I adjusted that. So I have it in stock position plus an extra couple of turns, so that's just got the attitude of the bike. It's brought the rear end back up a bit to compensate for my weight. That was a very wet ride. That is so light compared to the 1200. It was really enjoyable, really enjoyable. I'm going to have a play with this suspension, see what the maximum minimum damping is.
So now we've got the basics done, the preload, we can start looking at this damping. As long as I'm a solo rider and my weight's not going to change, my preload doesn't have to change anymore from now on.
Well, that's interesting. Right, that's my suspension. My compression and rebound damping on the forks, and my rebound damping set to complete maximum, and not recommended particularly for a wet day, but if you wanted a sporty dry day ride, that's still quite a nice ride, but you might be able to hear it in my voice a bit. It is a little bit rougher, just because I'm feeling a few more of the ripples. So although I have absolute maximum damping on this now, it actually still doesn't make it a harsh ride, but you can feel there is a lot less travel on the forks and the rear shock, and you feel the undulations in the road a bit more. Yeah, I wouldn't hesitate to use the sportier end of the damping on a dry day. It gives the bike quite a taut feel to it. And listen, you won't break anything, just try it. Put your damping to absolute maximum, front and rear. As I say, try it on a dry day maybe. It's actually a very pleasant ride. It's quite a sharp ride. You wouldn't really have the this much damping on a wet road. If you have a rain mode on a bike with electronic damping, what it then tends to do is back the damping off, give you a softer ride, because it wants to give the wheels a chance to stay in contact with the road. Let's live dangerously. We'll stop on this level crossing and see if I can change the damping before a train comes. No, maybe not. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go in here. down by the canal and change the damping here.
Okay, time to find out what the other end of the scale feels like.
Right, that's my damping fully wound off the front, and I've got down on my hands and knees and wound off the damping on that rear shock fully. So it's very soft setting. Yeah. Oh yeah, Grandy, I was just stopping to adjust the suspension. Right.
What sort of money would that make?
About 15 to 18. Yeah.
Camera on or no?
If it's flashing red, yeah, it is, yeah.
Real video.
You will. Well, I just missed the bloody train. Right, that's the suspension set at the minimum damping, and immediately there's a lot of fork dive, which is fine, you know. That's what it's. That's what forks are for, you know. Yeah, that's super plush. Super plush. That's a very pleasant soft ride, but it's ultra carpet ride. So I'd probably find somewhere, I wouldn't say in the middle, but I'd say, because I like a comfortable ride when I'm solo, I'd probably back this damping off to about 1/3 of the way, front and rear. This is real, I'm kind of undulating with the road. That's good to know. Yeah, when I accelerated away there, my rear end kind of did this for a bit. So it's just not enough damper to control the bike. And that again is because I'm a heavier rider, so it needs more damping. But now I know, I've set the damping full one way, full the other way on this bike. I know what the range is, and I get a feeling for where I want to be in that range. So I'll turn those in a bit. But everyone should do that. That's taken me about 10 minutes really, with the damping one way, the damping the other way, to find out what the range is, to give me an idea what the bike's capable of. So now, as a solo rider, right, my preload is fixed where I want it. I'll not change unless I go 2 up the load of luggage. That rear preload will not change, and it doesn't need to. Changing that preload doesn't make the bloody suspension harder or softer. It's your damping that does that. Damping has the overall effect of that. So you can get the characteristics of this bike to change completely with just by adjusting that suspension, and it doesn't matter. You can go completely minimum damping front and rear, or maximum damping front and rear on the road, and neither setting will upset you. Do it and you'll see the huge difference between the two, and then find somewhere in between that you like. And if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to do what I've just done, just read the user manual and make sure the settings are set where they suggest for a solo rider who wants a comfort ride, or a solo rider who wants a sporty ride. I have to say, with the damping jacked right up, more damping, that was quite a sporty ride. I obviously couldn't push it because the roads are wet, but you know, you can the difference in the way the forks move and everything like that's quite a difference. So if you've got a red hot day and you're out for a sporty ride in the mountains, jack that damping right up. It makes a complete difference to the bike, a complete difference.
So the Triumph Tiger 900 Rally, sports bike or cruiser, or both, just use that suspension and you can have the best of both worlds.
So that's it, is it? Sports bike or cruiser? Huh? What about Tourer? Two-up Tourer? Two-up touring bike, how's it cope with that? Yeah.
You didn't think of that, did you? No, you didn't think of it at all. You're a bloody half-wit man. There's more to this bike than bloody sports bike or cruiser. You've mentioned the off-road capability of this bike, haven't you? You know, Tiger, Rally, Rally Pro, yeah? Oh, you haven't? Oh, do you mean the bike tilty thing? No. More detail than that. There's more to it than that. What's the preload thingy? You know, that's exactly what I mean. The geometry of the bike, the preload, that stuff. Go on, explain it. Oh, bloody hell. Now I'm going to have to make another video. I can't possibly tag all that on the end of this one. Part 2 coming up. So, you're wearing them sunglasses for a bit, are you? Yeah, I thought so.